Hello, friends and professionals. Today I am here with volume 3 Causes of Claims. So, in volume 2, we have seen causes of claims like extensive claim, wrong tendering, and so many. So, now we'll go further. There are some wrong tendering, inadequate tendering information, and poor pre-tender planning. So those we have seen. Now you'll go further. There is one more is extensive variations. If there is many variations comes into the project, then definitely there will be a you know variations will come up. That is the main cause of that. Then design team delays. So if the project is delayed by design team and provide the drawings after start of the work, then there will be a changes. So that will invite the claim. So these are very important, very it is main areas where causes the claims. Now one more is there will be a design approval prior to the installation. So if delay in approvals from the client and consultants, even that's also invites the claims. So apart from that, the unforeseen events, that is no one knows, this is unknown risk. So in these cases we cannot predict what exactly going to come and how it has to be mitigated. If it is mentioned in the contract unforeseen events, then definitely it has to be part of the contract and it will be claimed by the contractor as well as from the consultants. So now these are the now what we learnt is causes of claims. There may be number of many causes. These are the main causes which I listed here. So there will be some more causes which are unknown. So for that, the contract manager and the QS should be vigilant at the site to note down all these events and put it in a proper notifications to the consultants and clients to make your case. So these are very important parts of the things. So causes of claims. Now we'll move for the losses and expenses. So how losses and expenses of the contractor will be put forward to the consultant and the clients. The contractor must prove his loss or expense. So he has to prove for that. If he is making a claim, so how he arrived the loss, it has to be proved in front of the consultants with the proper evidences. Demonstrate this loss is within the contractor's terms. So the loss has to be demonstrated within the contract terms. What contract you have signed between the client and the consultants and the contractor, that has to be made it clear and prove the loss. Then only your claim will be accepted by the consultant and the client. Such claims also claim by the clients. Even clients also can claim by proving that, so this is my losses. How he will claim? He can prove his losses and deduct through penalties. So you have to be very careful in this case. When you are writing a contract, whether client's claim is limited to certain percentage of the total value of the contract or it is indefinite, infinite. that has to be checked. As a contracts manager, you have to be very vigilant in these clauses to put forward for the project installations. So, client and contractor both are eligible for the claims, but there should be a proper procedure. The causal link we have discussed in the previous volumes also. The causal link is the basis for the claims. For example, this claim evolved due to this reason. The reason that event happened due to so and so company, so and so person. So those causal links has to be listed out in a precise manner, in detail, so that it has to be documented correctly with time, location, and grids. In the project there are grid lines, x-axis, y-axis, those all has to be mentioned in the report. So now we are talking about the claims. Once the contractor submit to the consultant has to review the submission and give the acknowledgement to the contractor, so within a set time, a week's time or 1.5 weeks time, so that has to be set in the. So delays happens due to delay in review. For example, approval of drawings, approval of method of statements, approval of procedures, approval of material submittals. So these all get into delays if there is no set time for the approval. The set time approval is to be mentioned in the contract in the initial stage itself. So we'll see now how the loss and expenses of the contractor and the client. Okay, loss is a money contractor should have but did not receive because of events. Loss happens when money contract should have but he spent due to loss of event, due to additional events. Expense is greater cost because of these events. The expense is more cost due to the events. Then now loss and expenses claims are based on delay in completion and also because of regular progress of the work have been disrupted. This we have saw the clause 6.8 where it is mentioned that the disruption from the client, if delayed, then you are eligible for the loss and expenses claims. Loss and expenses we know, but there should be proper evidences for that. These without, as I mentioned, the proper procedure with evidences and causal link with program, all those parameters will prove your case where you got delayed. So valuing of losses and expenses, how you will, when contractor submits, how you will review that as a consultant, as a client. This is a skill which experienced contracts managers and the QS who have to review and give the feedback to the contractor. So to review this, what all required by the consultant and the clients: sound knowledge and competence in the construction procedure. Unless you don't have a sound knowledge on the construction procedure, you will not be able to evolve. You will not be able to review it in a you know technical manner. Now, the second one is what skill a contractor should have: careful study of contract conditions and an understanding of their application. Careful study of contracts is also very essential parameter, where you have to consider how it is implemented, how it is put in the contract, what is the purpose of that. That has to be studied properly, and then you have to give your solution and mitigation plan for that. So not only conditions and clauses, you need to understand relevant case law, the case, how it has evolved, why, and all causal links, all those things you have to study thoroughly, come to conclusion, saying that whether it is relevant to the contract or it is out of the contract. So that also need to be checked. So loss and expenses clauses protocol, we'll go one by one. This we have already discussed about. The contractor must notify the consultant within 5 working days or 7 working days. This already we have come across. So this is the protocol. Without this, your claim will not be approved. So the consultant must establish the time lost and the additional expense incurred by the contractor. While reviewing the loss and expenses, consultant must review it and establish the time loss by the contractor. If the delay prolongs due to clients or consultants' reasons, then in this case EOT come into picture, extension of time. So extension of time, how it is going to be, like it is only a time or a cost. That's also, it has an extension of time. Submission is a huge area where you need to understand and submit with a comprehensive documents, so that it can be accepted by the client and authorities. So now, if your contract is a lump sum contract or remeasurable contract, any additional sum comes out of extension of time, loss and expenses approval, variations. So this sum has to be added to the total sum of the contract with the time. So these are like protocols. These, no one can say that we can go, it's not there in our contract or we will not do like that. But these are the main protocols of the contract. So now we come to claims. We understood that claims and protocols and procedures. So in the next video, volume 4, we'll go for investigating of claims. Okay, till then, bye, thank you.